Told you long ago on the road, I got what they waiting for. Gon' run from nothing, dog. Get your soul. Just tell 'em ain't late.
Things look a little different.
Yeah.
If you're watching, you're like, what the heck? This looks different. Well, this is our breakup video. No, I'm just kidding. When we started the podcast, we wanted to get like the cheapest possible thing just in case like it wasn't gonna like work out for us, and like, you know, if it was too much work or if it was too much this, if it was too much that. So we didn't want to spend a lot of money on a like, you know, good set of microphones. And, you know, that bit us in the butt because they both broke. So
The point of it was they were the same, so they weren't syncing. They were syncing as one, and so
Yeah,
you
so,
couldn't
like,
identify it. We
when-
would have used it if.
yeah, I would have continued to use it for sure. But because we got the exact same microphone, my computer couldn't distinguish.
Yeah.
Even though I have a MacBook Pro that I paid a lot of money for. Apple, please tell me why you do that. But it couldn't distinguish two separate microphones. It was like connecting as one. So we have to get new boom arms. And then we're going to get, you know, since we're actually able to do this, and there are people watching. I have a lot of people watch it, just so you know. And if you watch this, Lexi needs affirmation. So give Lexi some affirmation that people actually watch or listen, okay? Blow her phone up. And if you don't know us, comment on this video. And thank you.
And also, if you don't know we have a podcast, well, you're probably not hearing this, but why? Can you not see it? Like, is the algorithm not showing us?
Maybe. I mean, we do have like 70 followers on our podcast.
No, we have
Instagram.
like 100.
See? That's 100 people following us. Listen.
Or like
Anyway.
90. It was close to 100.
Okay. Well, that's a step, because that's 100 people that 100 people that didn't know before. So they know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not awake. I'm tired. My kid doesn't sleep.
I haven't even drinking this yet.
I had a cup of coffee and my Adderall kicked in on the way here, like it does most mornings.
Mm-hmm.
It's either like right when I call you or like in the first minute or two of when I call you and you're like, yep, there it is.
I was talking about that yesterday, how like Kylie said like sometimes she'll just, if somebody talks too much and too long, she'll start like zoning out. And I was like, yeah, I think I do that in the mornings when Alex calls me because it's just a lot.
Yeah. And then sometimes like if there's just silence, you're like, she's either busy doing something or she's totally zoning out right now.
I can't carry a conversation on.
Yeah. So, anyway, this is Gucci Girl Crunchy Part 2. And we said we were going to come prepared. We're not. But you know what? That's
We
story
don't
of our
have
life.
to come prepared. This is what we live.
Yeah, I know. But for somebody else, they might not know like exactly what it is that we look for.
know.
You know?
Well, then just look it up.
Okay.
Hey, if you're really interested, you're going to do your own research to see if we're truthful anyways.
True. That's very true. Because, you know, I've come to the realization that we look whack.
Nah.
Anyway, so
That's just a
I don't know. I
perception.
don't remember what we said exactly, what we were going to say. But,
We touched on greenwashing a little bit. We talked about how we swapped our cleaning stuff.
yeah,
We threw our dryer sheets away.
I have not done that yet. That is the one thing it's like the one thing that you should start with that I have not done. Because for some reason, I don't know if it's because I live at a higher elevation or if it's complete, utter bullshit. Like, I cannot stand static on my clothes.
I don't deal with that.
And for some reason, I've used the wool balls before. Maybe I
wash
just need
them cold. Do you?
Yes, I do on most everything, except for
Okay.
if it's like a kid's outfit that needs to get a stain out. I mean, yeah, I do. And then
I
I
just
always
use the balls.
But I think also a big I think a big difference between you and I is that you always tumble dry on low, right?
Let me think. I have a...
You never dry on high.
Oh, no.
See, and that's what I do. I dry on high all the time. So maybe that's
probably
why
what- Well, because, these are supposed to be capri leggings anyways, but I can't risk any of my clothes shrinking.
But I thought the shrinking comes from washing in hot water. Because
I wash on cold, dry on low.
Okay, see, that's like the actual opposite of what your mom does. She washes on, or no, not complete opposite. She washes on cold and dries on high because it kills things. Yeah. Because she told
We'll
me that
see.
when I was trying to figure out my sheets, what was going on with my sheets. My sheets were turning yellow, and I had no idea why. I either sweat really bad at night or I'm not washing them right. So Carla has the same sheets as me, and I was like, "Yo, what am I doing wrong?" And they were actually defective.
Did you
so.
notice the sheets on the guest bed are they're yellow because they're off white?
No, they looked like mine did at home. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I
Oh.
got a defective pair or something or I was washing, because like in my head, the science behind it, I was washing on hot because, when you wash hair with hot water, it opens that cuticle up, right? So that's
Yeah.
like the science in my head. I'm like, okay, if I wash it on hot, it opens that cuticle up of the fabric and it can get the stains out. But the first time I washed it on cold, it was like really white. So I was like, okay, I don't use fabric softener.
No.
I use vinegar.
Yes. Vinegar is really good for anything and everything. And I actually like the smell of vinegar. So.
I love the smell of vinegar, but your clothes don't smell like it.
No, they don't.
No.
I do. I take that little cap. So I used to use that like sanitation stuff from Clorox or whatever. And so I still have that cap. So I just fill it up and then I put it in the softener.
Can you like look back on yourself like using that and you're like, gosh, why would you do that?
I mainly use that for his work clothes.
Because of smell?
Just because they're nasty.
Well, it's dirt. It's not like bacteria. Or like if he's coming from like the hospital.
He stinks.
Yeah, he stinks, right? Well, that's what vinegar is for. Vinegar is the only thing that gets out like pee smell out of clothes. Like Boston pees his clothes all the time. So like that's the only thing. Like rotten pee coming from school.
That's gross.
No, I know. Like if it comes from school, right? And then a bag accidentally gets left in my car.
Ugh.
They wrap it in a Walmart sack, so it's not like
okay.
it's not like just sitting in my car. That's absolutely awful.
Yeah,
but-
no, I get that though, because Luna likes to pee on the bed when she gets scared.
And vinegar is so good about getting the smell out, and it doesn't ever smell like vinegar.
Yeah.
But the best laundry detergent ever. And it literally makes me want to just like lay my head in my sheets and like just take a big sniff in. It smells so good. It's the 9 Elements lavender one. It's
I know,
so good.
I
Your
need
mom
to-
ended up getting it and said she
Really?
really liked it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But isn't she-
She actually. She just texted me. Let's see.
What is
stop
it? Oh my gosh. Literally.
Nice.
That's the best.
She sent me a picture of when I got my wisdom teeth out. I was
Oh.
cussing at people down the road.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think I wonder if my mom still has those videos. I need to ask her because I think I asked her if she loved me at one point in time. on the way home, I was like, "Mommy, do you love me?" I think. Anyway, yeah, your mom said she really liked it, and I was like, "Wait, doesn't Carla only use powder?"
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. She switches things up all the time.
Okay, well it smells so good. Like I took the cover off of the nugget, and I washed that. And last night I put the foam pieces back in the nugget, like around it, and I was just like, "Man, this smells so good."
Starts sleeping on the nugget.
Dude, it literally smelled. That's why I used to be first of all, how often do you guys wash your sheets? That's a good one.
True. I try to do once a week. If I do it once a week, I know I'm good. But like, or I'm like, got my life together.
Yeah.
But probably like 2 times a month at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So I used to be a only when it needed it girl with 2 large black dogs. And that like repulses me to say that. And then I got the Sheiks, and I don't know what it is about. Well, no, I did it before the Sheiks too. I just like can't go to bed dirty. Like I have to take a shower before bed. And even if I'm like, oh, I have to take a shower the next day, like it's fine. Like I have to take a shower before bed, and I think it helps me sleep better. But then I can't even think about the fact, like if I laid in that bed or Chance laid in that bed and it was dirty, like he was dirty when he laid in the bed or I was dirty when I laid in the bed, I'm like, ugh. So, or if the kids come in there and they're like all like skanky nasty,
Sticky.
like kids are, and I'm like, no. So I'm like every Saturday, like I have to. But nothing tops your mother. Love
Every
her for
day.
that. Love her for that. Every single day. And that's how I knew something was wrong with my Sheiks, because
She washes them every day and they're fine. So Sheiks are these sheets that,
they're like dry fit.
yeah, like a spandex, but not like spandex seems very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
like hearing that. But it's weird. And they stretch, like I stretched a queen set on my king for the longest time.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like,
They're
I
amazing.
can't, I lay in regular sheets and I'm like,
Ugh.
this
It's hot,
it's
too.
hot. Yeah. That's the thing, is it's very, very hot.
So those are very breathable. If you sweat, I'm a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's real nice. And they don't like, feel like with regular sheets, when I sweat, like it just gets that like weird smell afterwards.
And you know, when you like, when your bed is the same temperature as your body and you just feel like, you're like, oh man, this feels so good. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like when you wake up in the morning and your body's and your sheets are like, it's like you're all as one, and you're like rubbing your feet around and you're like, oh, this is definitely a sensory issue. And like, it just feels so good. Those sheets are the best sheets to like wake up in, because like you don't feel like
yeah.
just like trapped. I don't know what it is.
I don't use the top sheet
No, I do.
because I
definitely do.
feel trapped. Like I feel like it gets around my.
I'm like so
I
weird
don't like
with
it.
my sheets, because like I have the top blanket that I use, which I've been using a different comforter now, but the top blanket that I use has to like almost like suction to that top sheet, so it's like one big blanket.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it stays like stuck to it all the time, so you don't have to worry about them coming apart, because Sheiks, they're slippery.
Yeah.
So like they come apart. So like my top blanket, like it almost like suctions or static clings to like the itself. So like if I was to like pull my blankets up, it stays like with it, which I love. And I'm
Mine
like,
didn't do that, so that sheet would always be at the end of the bed, just like crumbled.
yeah,
I hated that. I hate going to bed when like the blanket's not perfectly
dude,
laid, and like Chase just like jumps in and like
dude,
I'm like, huh.
no, that's like,
Get up!
that gives me the ick, because it's like he literally picks up the blanket wherever it can pick
Yes!
up and gets
It can
under
be-
it and lays on it, and I'm like, bro, like you got the left corner and you're on the right side of the bed. Like
it could
what's
be
going on
laying.
here?
It could just be hanging off the corner, and he just puts his feet over it.
Yes.
I'm ready for bed.
Yes.
I'm like, get up. I'm
Make
making
the
bed.
bed. Make the bed. No, and it has to be like perfectly made before we get into bed, because if it's not perfect, and I've been making my bed every day, y'all. This has changed my life. My meds have changed my life. But if I'm
I
not,
don't even make my bed.
I have to we make our bed every morning.
Wow.
Like he gets out of bed, he puts his side of the bed up. I get out of bed, we put our bed, like, and it's like,
He does too?
yeah, because also
Wow.
if the dogs get on our bed, we don't want it on our sheets.
That's
And then-
smart.
And then also if the kids get on our bed, like literally never fails, Baylor will have a granola bar in her hand and she'll get up on our bed, and somehow the whole granola bar just ends up on our bed, like
Yeah.
not in her belly. So anyway, Sheiks, 10 out of 10. Carla washes her sheets every day. That's
This
what it's
podcast is not about sheiks,
Yeah, no.
but
Please sponsor us.
they're really nice.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Think about that for your next Christmas present.
Thank you for my Christmas present.
You're
I love it.
welcome.
Even though it was a defective pair and I had to return it. It's fine.
Eh.
So anyway, best clean laundry detergent, 9 Elements from Target. They have really good dish spray and dish soap too.
Yeah, I have the one that looks like the Dawn Power Wash.
And it's the squeezy.
I love it.
Dude,
That's
so good.
all I use.
So good.
But I use, for laundry detergent right now, I use the Molly Suds, and it's unscented. So I just use that. And that thing lasts me forever. So
Yeah.
I still have half, like I put it in a glass jar.
That's the only thing I
still
don't
have
like.
half of it. So
yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about like
There's no
more like
smell to it.
natural. Yeah, there's no smell. It's
yeah,
like I want my clothes to smell good. You know, when people walk into my house, I want my house to smell good.
I know. That's what
So,
I've been trying to figure out.
it's like-
that's the hardest part.
Artificial fragrance is so bad for you. Like it's, you know, I don't. Like I said, we should have came prepared, but it's like some type of like carcinogen, and if you say like, you know, if it's
Fragrance is an umbrella
yes.
for so many different ingredients that they don't have to disclose.
yeah,
And that's the scary part.
yeah.
So it can be things that, I
I
don't
want to
know,
look at the 9
Bad-
Elements.
bad stuff that they don't have to say because it's just under that fragrance. Fragrance is probably the worst thing you could have on your ingredients list. If you look up any, because I watch a bunch of YouTube videos on like how to go non-toxic and what to start with, and they said laundry sheets or dryer sheets and anything with the word fragrance in it.
Yeah. So this laundry detergent on the EWG app, which I think you need to just do your own research. Like, that's a good starting point. Like, I know that that's like a really good starting point. That and the Yuka app. Yuka is for food and EWG is for like more like household makeup, things like that. And I know it's a good starting point, but I know it's incredibly greenwashed. And I know that like they EWG verify things that they want to sponsor, essentially. But this brand is EWG verified, meaning it's like cleanest of the clean, right? But like it shows on here, it shows like all of the ingredients.
Dyes are a big one too.
Yeah. It says made without artificial preservatives, dyes, thickeners, and brighteners. Okay, so like that's great, right? But it also shows you on here like what each individual ingredient does. So there's like the plant-based cleaning agent, citric acid, cleaning agent, I don't even know. And see, like that to me is red flag too. It's like but here's another thing is I've got 2 small children that stains cannot get out of. So
C1216
Parith. But it says, it's made with vinegar as a base.
Yeah.
But it says fragrances. Now, fragrances could mean, it says lavender or whatever. It could mean that it's fragranced with lavender essential oil, but they can't put lavender essential oil. There's some way that they can say it that it makes it okay to say.
Maybe it's artificial fragrance that is the...
Artificial fragrance is the bad one.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like this, if it's EWG verified, that would mean that it has to be essenced with essential oils, right?
I think.
But like the reason why I'm like, okay, that has fragrances or whatever in it. My kid pees his pants, and also they get like stains on literally everything. Like I have to right now in this season of my life have to use something that's more than just baking soda, like, or borax or just vinegar. Like I know people who just use vinegar, and I don't have the time.
I haven't tried that.
I don't have the time. I've tried it and it doesn't get stains out like it should. And if you guys have a different suggestion, I'm all about it. But I love the way that this smells, and right now I feel like that's a good compromise.
I'll definitely have to try it once I run out.
I want to find it on the EWG app because I know it's verified, or at least it's a very low number. Where's it at?
You can also, I think, so Sal Suds, we talked about that a little bit in the last episode. I think we just said Sal Suds, but it's by Dr. Bonners, which that's a really good brand too. They have like very, very concentrated soaps, and they're in these like big bottles. Like how many ounces or whatever is that? Like
I don't even know.
Big, and they're so concentrated. So like I've had mine for
there's a rose
years. I don't know.
There's a rose water scent.
Ooh.
I wonder if that's one. But here's another thing. You know who owns it? I just realized that because it pops it up right here. You know who owns 9 Elements? Procter and Gamble.
Well, hold on. Let me continue my sauce.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Dr. Bonners is the brand. Sal Suds is more of like a cleaning agent. But it's also highly concentrated.
I wonder if it's...
So what I do, it can be used for a multi-purpose cleaner. I think a toilet bowl cleaner.
It's the best multi-purpose cleaner I've ever used in my life.
Oh, I love it.
It's so good.
And it kind of has a little bit of a tea tree smell.
Yeah,
almost.
Just a little bit.
It doesn't smell weird. It's like, really when you spray it, you can't really smell it, which is fine. It's like, it gets the nasty kitchen smell out, but like, it's not like, bleach or just like something that's like,
yeah,
I can't with
that. It smells clean.
Yes. So I just put a little bit in water, and then I think I put like warm water or hot water.
I was using that for laundry detergent for a little bit too.
You were?
Yeah, but it just wasn't doing its job.
I haven't tried it with laundry detergent.
Which, I mean, like, I'm one of those that like packs the laundry full, and like I don't stain treat. So like I could probably benefit myself in using something.
But then it's like trying to find a stain treater.
Yeah.
That
Puracy's good, and that's the only thing that gets breast milk stains out.
Oh.
And avocado. That as a mother, avocado stains are worse than breast milk poop. Anyway, Sal Suds is an A.
It better
has,
be.
I think the worst thing in here is like needle oil, which I think is palm tree oil.
Oh.
And then some other kind of leaf oil, and then lauryl sulfate, which that's a sulfate.
Yeah.
But like Dr. Bronner's soap normally isn't if you want to go down another rabbit hole, read the bottle, because the bottle has some weird ass shit on it. Like, have you ever read it?
Not all the way through.
It's like one world. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay. But they have really good chapstick too.
Oh,
The best chapstick ever.
Really good.
Anyway, it's an A. But so I went and looked for that laundry detergent, and it says that it is in fact lemon essential oil.
Nice.
So I don't know why they put on their fragrances instead of just saying lemon essential oil. Like, I wonder what the law is on that, because like I know so many things that could be completely 100% clean, scented with, essential oils, but it would still say fragrances. So
essential oils is also something that like it's an art. And I have yet to master it, and they're freaking expensive. Like one bottle can be like $30, but you also have to make sure
it's not diluted. Yeah.
Because they'll sell you like pretty much water out of essential oil.
Yeah. But let me also say, I think that I use essential oils for scent most of the time, and like I use that as like, detoxifying the air and things like that. I don't ingest them. There's been a whole bunch of controversy on whether or not you're supposed to ingest them or not.
Ingest them?
Like put it in water or like to drink. Like, I know some people that are like, that's so bad for your stomach lining. And then I know some people that's like, no, I do it all the time.
I don't know. I haven't done that either.
Right. So I haven't done enough research on that part of it. But something I will say is, I think, I don't know what the difference is like naming essential oils, but I use like garlic oil for when I have ear infections, and I've talked about that on my Instagram before, and it knocks it out. Like, I know when one's coming, so I can like knock it out before it even like gets bad. And then I love that, but garlic is nature's antibiotic. So yeah. If you haven't done there's a trend on not a trend, but there's a thing on TikTok where you can like put like garlic and honey together and let it like sit in the fridge for like 2 weeks. And it's like the best cough syrup ever. Yeah. Cause the honey like moisturizes and coats your throat, and then the garlic actually fights whatever's going on.
Okay. I think so. There's this brand that my mom uses, that one brand, and they had, when I was sick, I don't remember what I was sick with, but I think probably just junk. She brought me this like cough syrup, and it had all of that stuff. It was just like all the natural stuff just mixed together, which you could just make, but she just buys it.
Right. So
it was nice. It helped a lot.
Yeah. Honey works wonders for a sore throat and dry and cough and all of that.
I hate the texture of it. It was so thick. I was just like,
yeah, gag. Yeah. But I highly swear by that. I'll go back to the honey in a second, but I wanted to say, like, don't get me wrong. If one of the things that people like to say when you have like strep throat or any other kind of, throat infection or whatever, is to like do like gargle oregano oil.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry.
Or salt water.
That too. But I've had strep, and it's literally like strep as an adult. I feel like it's 10 times worse than strep as a child, but I've had strep as an adult, and like, I'm sorry, like, this is where I'm like, okay, medical intervention. Like, I'm going to go get on antibiotics to knock this thing out because, whatever. I'm not going to sit and gargle oregano oil just because, like, I'm just not going to do that.
Well, you can do that to soothe it while you take the antibiotics.
I don't think oregano oil soothes anything.
Or salt water.
That, yes.
That's what I mean.
But anyway. But I have it on hand. Strep is just like one of those things. I mean, you get it a lot, but like when I get it, maybe it's not as like, because you do get it more frequently. You haven't had it in a while.
I also suffer with tonsil stones.
Yeah, that's gross. That's gross.
And kidney stones.
Yeah.
I'm just a stone girl.
She's stoned. Literally. Anyway, so the honey, if you get honey and like say you have like really bad seasonal allergies, if you get local honey, and like take like a teaspoon of it a day, like during allergy season, it's actually supposed to help your body like get accustomed to the allergens in your area because it's made from the bees that are picking up the pollen in your area. So it's more like customizable seasonal allergy situation. So highly recommend that. And also if you buy local honey, you're supporting a local farmer and or bee farmer, all the things. I can't wait for Jess to have bees.
Oh, she's gonna have bees?
Yeah, she did like a beekeeper thing, I think.
Also, nettle leaf, I take that every day.
Oh yeah.
And that, I swear that's why I'm okay.
True.
I swear. It is.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we've gone down 10 different rabbit holes and it's been 27 minutes. But I kind of want for each of us to explain what crunchy or scrunchy means for us. Like what does this like crunchy lifestyle look for each of us? And why, not necessarily why, because we kind of went into that last episode, but like, because I think media, social media, all the things can paint crunchy as like this, like, oh, I joke and say I'm a hippie, but like, oh, you're a hippie who, whatever. So I just want to like talk about what it means for each of us. So without further ado.
I mean, to me, so scrunchy and crunchy, I feel like the difference between those is a little like crunchy is more like you're really not going to get anything that is toxic.
Right.
Like you're more hardcore.
Yeah.
And scrunchy is like, okay, well, I do a little bit of this, but like I also don't like, it's kind of both. Like
yeah. Like, so there's the silky moms, right? I'm not going to go into what that means because it might mean something else for other people. But there's the silky moms who are the opposite of crunchy, right? And then there's the scrunchy moms in the middle.
Like, yeah.
That kind of like incorporate both.
Yeah.
And it could be in every aspect of your life. Like, for me, I buy organic, but you catch me in the Zaxby's drive-thru. And I look at every label, but I, still use, I don't know.
I wonder if there's a one that's past crunchy.
Oh, for sure.
What do they call that?
That's full on like, what do they call it? Like nomad, where you like, is that even a nomad? I don't know.
Whether it's like no like anything that isn't from the ground or like they don't make themselves or.
That's what I want to be. I would love to be that one day. When we get our Gland Pound going, I'd love to have so I had to get a new debit card, y'all. And I was like sitting there flipping through.
Oh, I was like, how does this
correlate?
Okay. Congrats.
So I was sitting there flipping through like the new debit card designs or whatever. And then I was like, oh, there's some chickens and there's some cows. And then I was like, should I get this to like manifest Gland Pound? Like, but then I was like, well, we're not going to have cows probably. So, whatever.
Maybe like in the beginning, probably not, but like I'm hoping to like get there at some point. Like
I just want some chickens.
Get our houses, the shed or the
community center.
Get that done first. Kind of like start with a garden and like see if we can handle that. And then, maybe like when we're in our 40s or whatever, like, cause we'll probably still be here. Like we can't like fully devote our life to, so
that's why I said your mom needs to be the one that makes like all the bone broths and shit. Like,
so like I was going to tell you this, like not on the podcast, but I think it's cute anyways. But we were out in Gentry where my mom and Poppy live, and they have about an acre. And we were playing horseshoes, and my dad was on the side with me, and he looked at me, he's like, oh, I just want land someday. Like, I hate the city. I just want some land. And I was like, we'll get there.
It's a sign.
We'll get there.
That's a sign.
He's like, I'm so done with the city.
Yep. Because I asked you, I was like, do you think that your parents would like move out on land?
I ended up asking my mom, and I mean, I think she said yes.
I think your mom is like, I look at her, I'm like, oh, she's a city girl, but I feel like she honestly like would
not. I don't know, just the way her mind is, I don't
now.
think so.
I
Yeah.
think that she definitely would
Yeah.
thrive there. But like your mom has the time. Like I want to have bone broth on hand, right? For like when my kids are sick or whatever. Like your mom has the time to do that. Like it's like we're the definition of like party in the front or business in the front, party in the back. You know what I'm saying? But like with scrunchy lifestyle, you know,
Yeah.
like business in the front, we're business women who own a salon, the most toxic job ever. And
I
then we're like, so we do our best energy efforts to,
But also living in America
yeah,
is freaking hard
yeah,
because I'm sorry, but they don't regulate a lot of things.
yeah, yeah, nope.
Gatorade is banned in every other country except
That is
here.
crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And I am one of those like now that I like have a hard time even like drinking, you know, Gatorade or anything like even this, like I'm like sitting
Honestly,
here
yeah,
thinking,
I have a hard time
like,
with
okay,
this
this has sucralose in it. And, you know, it's come out that like basically all artificial sweeteners cause cancer.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the government has to tell you that something's bad for you to actually believe it. But whatever. This is my moderation. Okay.
I know.
But-
We're kind of crunchy.
Yeah. So, okay. Another thing is my coffee creamer and I'm pissed about it because, you know,
The one that we were
yes,
using,
so-
I know.
okay. Just know that, and that's why I made the comment about Procter and Gamble owning.
Well, when packages are changed on things, look at the ingredients and make sure that they're the same as what they were because they probably
that
aren't.
is what happened to our coffee creamer. But like that's why I said the thing about Procter and Gamble is because big corporations like Procter and Gamble, Kellogg's, like all these things, like they basically own everything. So like knowing that they make something that has 1,000,001 dyes in them and 1,000,001 preservatives, and like that's what they're marketing to our children. That's what they make, right?
Mhm.
But then they're also trying to come out with this greenwashed brand that is
Because
supposed to be better. It's probably
Natural
not.
is a trend now.
Right. And that's what they're trying to like, they're trying to stay up to date with the times. And,
Mhm.
you know, people are becoming more aware thanks
Mhm.
COVID and, you know, things like that. So,
They're like, let's.
right. So you
market
need to
on
look, there's a guy on TikTok who breaks down every aisle in the grocery store of
Yes.
who owns what.
Do you know what his name is?
No, and I want to find him. Maybe we can tag him
It's
if I find him.
crazy.
But literally like big corporations own everything in every aisle.
And then there's a tiny little
yep.
spot, and it's like
Independently owned.
like
Like
at the top
yep.
because they always put
Yep.
at the bottom where little kids.
Yep.
Well, I want this. I want this, and
It's
it's the most
literally
toxic
there's some
ones.
Spider-Man like applesauce pouches on the bottom, and I'm like, oh, Boston would love those. Pick it up, and it has
Yeah.
like 1,000,001 ingredients, and I'm like, it's applesauce. Like, how hard is that? It's literally applesauce in a pouch, and I understand I could just make it, or I could get a big thing of applesauce, organic applesauce, and make it myself. But like, I'm in this season where I have to have these, right? And then the Go-Go Squeeze has like 2 ingredients, so I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
like that's nice. But like, you put the Spider-Man on the bottom because you know my kid's gonna be looking at that.
Right,
And that's
yeah.
the easiest to grab. That is actually a thing. So next time you're in the store, look at the shelf and it's probably going to go bad, worst of all, bad, maybe a little bit better.
Nobody looks at
Little
the
better.
top shelf.
Yeah. But it's also expensive. So
I
that's
know.
another thing is
I
it's
know.
expensive because it's cheap to put cheap ingredients in things and then upsell it for, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's why they put preservatives. That's why they put, you know, red dyes in it because it's more expensive to use beet color for a color in something, or, you know, like paprika for color. It's like harder to do that and more expensive to do that than it is to just do some red 40 that you can make in a lab.
You know what's not expensive? Aldi.
True. And Aldi does not.
Oh,
It doesn't
my
allow.
foot's going to sleep.
It doesn't allow for dyes, preservatives, things like that. So I feel, at least if I'm buying like processed food from Aldi, it helps me be a little bit more conscious.
Yeah.
But also I think something that's really helped me is going gluten-free. For me in Boston, I have to look at every single label.
But it can also be hard. Maybe not for like you.
Yeah.
But for people that are going gluten-free, they think like, you might think that processed gluten-free stuff is better.
No.
But sometimes it's worse.
I would say almost always it's worse.
Yeah.
Like,
And yes,
because
I do
you-
buy some cookies that are gluten-free.
but that's your 80-20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's your vice.
I need some sweet in my life.
Yeah, although those gluten-free brownies were pretty good.
I know. Just don't do it in a cast iron.
It's okay. It's okay.
I try. Okay, I'm trying.
Hey, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. You have a cast iron baking set, and that's more than what I have. I have glass. So, but
Glass is still good.
yeah, it is. No, so what were we saying?
Processed gluten-free stuff.
Oh yeah, no. So it has like what they do is they replace the things that would be like, say for example, gluten-free cookies, right? They replace what would be used as the flour with more sugar to make it bind to itself and hold it together.
So I feel like gluten-free is really popular, but I also feel like people don't understand what gluten is.
Yes.
You probably could explain it a little better than me.
So, anything wheat, barley, or rye. So, like you think, and malt. Malt is, yeah. So, wheat being like flour, right? You think flour. That goes in pancakes.
Any bread.
And
Literally
any bread.
any bread.
Then there's like barley that is in beer, right? So like that's been one of my things. Yours is cookies and brownies. Mine is beer. I haven't been able to have a beer in like 6 months. And
do they have any type of beer?
so like ciders, right? So like the
Those are
apple
fine?
ale, yeah, those are fine. So because it's made from like fermented apples and things like that. So like that's how that. But you have to also
still
like,
probably look at the list.
Yes,
Yeah.
And then what's crazy? So it's malt is not gluten free, right? And places like Walmart can't sell like hard liquor. So then they have these like prepackaged ranch waters, right? Those ranch waters and like Smirnoffs and what else is something that you would think that, Cayman Jack margaritas, right? Margarita, you think tequila. No, it's made with malt liquor. Yeah. So like, if you're like, oh, I want a prepackaged margarita, you might as well go get some Jose Cuervo from the liquor store because...
Dude, I drank that Memorial Weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's made with malt because like big box stores can't, well, at least Walmart and not the Fayetteville Sam's Club can't sell like, they can't sell a bottle of Jack. They can't sell tequila.
Right, but I didn't know Cayman Jacks. I didn't think that they weren't gluten-free.
Right,
That's
because you think margarita and you think tequila. Like, I don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
No, that, Smirnoffs, you have to be careful with Trulies sometimes because, like,
That's so
Trulies
annoying.
and things like that because it's made with malt liquor and malt liquor is not gluten-free. So I was actually at Maddie's one time and I was like, well, ranch water, you think tequila, but where did you buy it? You know?
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And if you look it up, sometimes they're not, truthful. So now that there are some that are gluten free and they figured out how to do it and put it in Walmart, and that there's some that are gluten free. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But so wheat, barley, and rye. If you like Whoppers and stuff like that, malt, or malt shake or whatever. Yeah. No, that's a no-go. And then barley, rye, rye bread, things like that. But it can also, I think people get confused and they're like, oh, well, what about like chicken salad, right? You think about what's in chicken salad. Okay.
Sometimes they do put a filler and like the filler is
right. And that's just
flour.
Because it's processed, right?
Yeah.
Like logically, if you make chicken salad on your own, why would it have gluten in it?
Right.
Because it's literally like what, chicken and
just
mayonnaise?
like the margaritas from Walmart. Why would it have malt in it?
And then you're like, why do you feel the need to put it in there?
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need to put it in there? Is it because like you're trying to make more bottom dollar? Is it you're trying to pad your pockets more by making more product, a filler? You're trying to make more to get more on the shelf, to sell more? Like, just be truthful. Like, I understand, like, we're in a, that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, so.
It's confusing, but once you know, oh, I just can't have these certain things, like bread. That's also cake. That's also brownies. Literally any pastry that you could think of, which is hard when you're at events and they bring muffins or they bring all this stuff. And so it's like, well, okay, I can't have that, but it's fine. Like
pizza.
But
Domino's does have a really good gluten-free crust. So,
yes,
and that's one of those okay, I'll do that gluten-free. Yep. I don't really, honestly, other than granola bars and, we don't eat a whole lot of processed food. Now you're thinking okay, well, what about spaghetti? Can't live without spaghetti, right? So I don't get gluten-free noodles because gluten-free noodles, again, replaced with that sugar, in turn, probably not good for you. In turn, there's probably 16 different ingredients on that list that I can't read or pronounce or even know what they came from.
Red flag.
Yes, literally. So I really like chickpea pasta. And, you know, you think
It's
about
my
eating
favorite
regular spaghetti and you're like, oh, these are a whole bunch of carbs, blah, 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 blah. Chickpea pasta is loaded with macros that you need. Fiber, lots of protein. They're so filling. So
I love it.
Yeah. That's
It's
been
a Bonza brand?
Bonza, but I get the Aldi one and I love it just
yeah.
as much. I have found though, my mom said, she was like, oh, it tastes kind of funky. I have found that if you don't cook them like as long as you would regular noodles, kind of make them like a little al dente, and then rinse them with cold water when you like dump them out, it like takes that chalkiness off of them. And I'm used to it now because like before I got pregnant, I was gluten-free anyway, but I definitely did a lot more processed gluten-free stuff now. I hardly ever eat processed foods now, just because like if you get the mindset like processed foods equal gluten, you probably, you know, not all the time. It's not all the time. There are things that are processed that don't contain gluten that just like naturally, right?
Chips, but
Yeah.
sometimes, like she looked at the barbecue chips.
Oh yeah.
And they had
Malt flavoring in it. Mm-hmm. It was the Miss Vicky's barbecue, and I had like eaten like 2 of them, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it said malt, but like the salt and vinegar ones don't have it. But then also with chips, you have to be like with Cheetos and Doritos and stuff like that. They have a lot of red dye or any kind of dye, so like you have to be careful with that. But
speaking of chips, though, the brand it's like Siete.
mm-hmm.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
and the ingredients list is like 6 things.
Yeah.
And they're so good.
Yeah, I love those. I love them. But I'm trying really hard to be more conscious about my corn intake too. Because corn is really inflammatory. But also, corn, the reason why it comes out whole the way it came in is because it's so genetically modified that your body doesn't recognize that it's food. So it pushes it out like it would if you swallowed a quarter. Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
That is literally terrifying that's like, and it's in everything. But on the back of a label, you don't have to worry about reading every single one and knowing exactly what every single one means, because wheat is one of those like main, I think it's 6 allergies that you have to put on the back of a label. So underneath the ingredients list, there's a bolder section that says like may contain or contains blah, 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 tree nuts, soy, blah, milk, whatever. And wheat is one of those that has to be on there. But I don't know about barley and rye, but
I haven't seen it in there.
If something doesn't say gluten-free, that doesn't mean it's not.
Yeah.
So, if, chicken salad doesn't say gluten-free, that doesn't mean that it's not gluten-free, if that makes sense. So you just have to kind of know also what alternative words you're looking for in an ingredients list, because, then that could get you have to kind of just pay attention to it, but it makes you a lot more mindful. And
I'm sorry. I don't think I could go dairy free though.
Yeah.
I ain't that girl.
I'd love to, but it's just hard already.
I ain't that girl.
It's hard already. I think if my kids were older, I think I could do it. Because like last night, for example, we had spaghetti. That was a dairy-free meal.
Yeah. I put Parmesan on it though. I really like cheese.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. I put hot sauce on my spaghetti.
That's gross.
No, it's so good.
I miss macaroni.
Okay. The Aldi gluten-free macaroni actually is pretty busted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I need to shop Aldi more, but
I'm telling you, it's really good. It is really, really good. And their produce.
I just need to shop with you one time at Aldi and you show me what you like.
I'm down for that. Let's plan a date. But anyway, it's funny because Chance was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and this lady on TikTok that like basically is like super crazy crunchy, she like, pops up on mine sometimes. She's been popping up on his.
Huh.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you. But of course he's like, oh, I don't understand. And he still drinks Mountain Dew and whatever. I'm not like trying to control him that much, but like.
I still drink some soda.
Oh yeah. Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
I would literally, listen, this is the hill I stand on. I could have an entire ass farm, have raw milk, all my eggs.
But there's going to be Dr. Pepper in that fridge. There's going to be a stocked
Dr. Pepper, and I will crack open a cold one on my gravesite.
So I don't like Coke anymore after my taste change with COVID and all that. But
I don't like any soda
There's
other than Dr. Pepper.
Tacos and Beer Place in Centerton, and they have the Mexican Coke. So I grabbed one, and it is so different. It's like the only Coke that I
Does
like.
that not just like I hear stuff like that and it just like literally pisses me off. Like I
No, I know.
get
I
mad.
drank it and I was like, this is what Coke used to taste like. I was like,
It just pisses me off because why? What is the point? Coke. What is the point? You own the same one in Mexico that you do in the United States. So what's
I
the
don't
point
know.
in making it so like? I don't know why I'm so mad.
it's just because you don't realize how good things taste that aren't.
We should be able to have
Processed
those little
or-
victories. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I should be able to eat Fruity Pebbles without like worrying about all the different red dyes. Fruity Pebbles don't exist in the UK. They don't exist.
I do have an occasional Cocoa Pebbles because they are gluten free, and I'm a sucker for some cereal too.
Hey,
so.
Cocoa Pebbles though are chocolate. Like
I know I don't like Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles
It-
are like every dye in the
I
book.
really like chocolate, so anything chocolate, I'm there.
Okay, you might be wondering why dyes matter,
Yeah,
and that let me just tell you. Go to TikTok or go to DuckDuckGo. Don't go to Google. And type in like behavioral comparison on kids who have had dyes versus kids who have not had dyes, and just the behavioral differences in those kids are insane.
It's
I can
crazy.
tell, like, not even just from sugar. Like, let's say it's like a Dorito, you know, like, I mean, they are sugars, but it's not Gushers or
Yeah.
Skittles or something. Like, just from like him having some Doritos or Cheetos, like, he is a straight up hellion. And I mean, like, I mean, that could just be him too, but like,
no, I can tell. I mean, just not even with him. Just like I feel like people know about artificial dyes more than really anything, especially red dye. That I've known that since
there's a lady
I was able to know
there's
it.
a lady on Instagram that basically tells you what each dye like does to your body. And of course cancer, of course this, of course that, of course attention deficit, of course like all kinds of things. And like that's a whole nother thing too. And it's just
Was that
like
the same lady that was like, I took all the dyes out of my son's diet and he's a completely different kid.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
he suffered from ADHD before that, and he was he had behavioral issues, and
then she like took them completely out and then slowly like added one back in to see which one was triggering him, and it was the red 40, but then also the blue and like basically every single one, but it was a different effect that it had on his body. Like one of them didn't let him sleep.
and one was like depression.
Yeah,
in a kid.
yeah. And I know that it's so much easier to just grab something on the shelf, but like also like to me, I feel major mom guilt if I was to let Boston have a thing of Doritos, and I'm like, what is that doing to his body? Like what effects is that going to have on him long term? Like not just one bag of Cheetos, but repeated bags of Cheetos. Like what is that going to do to his body? Now, granted, there are some Cheetos out there that are clean,
Yeah.
you know, and those are the little indulgences that he can have. There's organic fruit snacks where they're like colored, and see, that's why I'm like, Great Value made it. How fucking hard is it? How hard is it?
Wait, really?
Great Value made some like organic, what's it called? Fruit snacks that were like colored with fruit instead of colored with, wow. Like how hard is it? And you know what the price difference was? Like 50 cents. And you know where they were? On the top shelf.
See, that's why I didn't know about
Great
it.
Value.
I'm gonna get on it and then because
Yeah.
Chase loves. He's a kid. He loves fruit snacks. He calls them his fruits and veggies.
No.
So I'm gonna like take those, eat those, because he eats Gushers. And he is a
man.
child.
Pop-Tarts are one of those things too that I've really kind of missed. I love Pop-Tarts.
Ooh, I used to take one at school, and they had a little concession. Just grab a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Eat those in my first period.
I loved Pop-Tarts. And they have organic Pop-Tarts, but I'm sure the gluten-free Pop-Tarts just taste like ass.
I don't miss Pop-Tarts though.
I'm a sucker for, when I was pregnant with Baylor, like towards the end, I would have a pack of the cinnamon sugar,
Yeah, you would.
I was
Yeah,
a
you
sucker
would.
for those, man. I think at one point in time I had a box of them in my car. Like, they were so good. That and limes. Oh, and Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. I had an aversion with Dr. Pepper with Boston.
and you loved it. Mr. Pibb.
Oh, no. That one specifically. Mr. Pibb. So superior to everything in the world. And Tzatziki's Mr. Pibb at that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, we're crunchy, but we're still fun.
Yeah. It's like I'm a Christian, but I say fuck.
Yeah.
It's everything in moderation. And, like we said before in the last one, we don't not love you if that's not how you view life. And there's a lot of things that we didn't touch on today that, can kind of make somebody not love us. But it's totally fine. And we see a lot of people in here, but we try to make sure that what we provide for our clients, like, we don't use, the products that we use are ethically sourced, and they are, cleaner. But they probably do have artificial fragrances in them. But like
These?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No,
Girl, no.
they're like,
It should. Let me. Pause. Hold, please. Okay. They say this one is with yellow melon extract. And they get them from farmers in Italy.
and it shows where they came from too. It says from Miss Simonte's farm in Detilio.
It's so cool because
Italy.
when we had a product knowledge class, she was telling us about that. And that was like the one thing that stuck with me. And I think it's so cool and like sweet. Like they're getting them from farmers and they're giving farmers that income.
Right. Yeah. Melon extract. Now this does have dyes in it, but I mean, it doesn't. Okay.
But it's from Italy.
Okay, no, I think I found the difference. Okay, so it does have fragrance in it, but it says parfum / fragrance. So maybe on the,
Also, this is certified B
Corp, meaning that they treat their employees really
vegan
well.
friendly. I can literally smell it from the bottle.
That's this one smells like green apples to me.
It does smell like that to me, but
And then also somebody who used to work here said that it smelled like squished ants. Like, ants have a smell if
I guess
you squish them.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, so we just love it, and we try really hard to do things like that. And as a parent, that's just what I feel like I have to do. But at least you're already there. I went through a kid.
My dog food
Yeah,
is made from real food,
yeah,
and I could probably make it, but I just pay somebody to do it.
yeah,
So they're getting the good stuff too.
yeah. My dogs don't. Which I wish I could, but it's just,
It's a lot.
dude. My dogs weigh as much as we do. Like,
Yeah, my dogs don't. So
they would literally need like double the amount of food,
Mhm.
if not more.
yeah,
So I just, maybe one day when we're like old and our kids are out of the house, like maybe that could be my puppy indulgence. But yeah, that's just like the tip of it, I guess you could say. And it goes so much deeper. And it honestly, like, it seems really overwhelming. In the beginning, when I started switching everything over, it seems really overwhelming. But then I started thinking about the fact, like, I'm anemic. Boston probably has low iron like most kids. Baylor probably has low iron like most kids. And cooking on things like cast iron and stainless steel actually infuses your food
Mhm.
with more like ingestible iron, right? Because you're cooking on cast iron and stainless steel,
Yeah.
which those are better for you anyway. And they don't contain forever chemicals that's going to give you cancer. So, which I might very well die of cancer, right? I might. But at least I know that.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Why?
Because you're non-toxic.
Oh,
and
right.
You
Well,
would die of cancer.
I just feel like at this point, cancer is just so prevalent. If they're going to go in there and look for cancer, they're going to find it, because that's a whole nother
Anyways,
thing too.
all right. Well, we gotta go. So-
Do we?
Yes.
I don't have a client at 9. Okay, anyway.
You don't want to listen to us talk for 3 hours.
No. Okay. All right. Well, have a good day / weekend / whatever the heck it is for you. But I need to take a nap.
I told you long ago